Breaking news, basketball fans. The Chicago Sky is imploding right before our very eyes, cutting their leading scorer Chennedy Carter. But hold up. This isn't your typical roster move. Carter's not going quietly into free agency. She's stirring up drama on her way out, considering their lack of scoring and shot creation and what she did last year and her talent. For them to just not want her back and to let her walk is a big statement. It's a big statement. You know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And in Chicago, it's looking like a 5-alarm blaze. Carter's been dropping some cryptic tweets destroying Angel Reese that has everyone talking. If your star player is publicly taking shots at teammates, something's seriously wrong in the Windy City. Stick around to find out why Carter's going nuts and why it spells trouble for the Sky. You know what's wild? The Chicago Sky just cut their leading scorer. Yeah, you heard that right. Chennedy Carter, the player who averaged a whopping 17.5 points per game last season, is suddenly out of a job. Talk about a plot twist, right? So that's a reputation thing around the league. That's not out of nowhere. That's not nothing. And I think it says a lot that the Sky are the latest team to be willing to part with Chennedy Carter, especially considered how talented she is, because she's got skills. There's no question in that. Let's break this down for a second. Carter wasn't just good. She was on fire. We're talking about a player who dominated the court, leading the Sky in scoring, and then went on to torch it up in China during the offseason, dropping nearly 30 points a game. That's not just talent. That's superstar material. The GM put out a statement basically saying, the fits are going to be different and all that, but all the reporting and the common sense tells you that there were issues behind the scenes with Chennedy Carter, and this is not the first time. That has been the story of her WNBA career. And if someone else is going to give her a chance, it may be her last chance in the WNBA. But so it's almost shocking that it would happen from just a basketball personnel standpoint. But it's not surprising to see Chennedy Carter have a Sky goodbye, given everything else we know. So why on earth would the Sky let go of a player like that? Well, hold on to your seats, because this is where things get messy. The Sky's GM, Jeff Palioka, dropped some hints that there's more to this story than just stats. He talked about Carter's fit on the team changing. Now, we all know what that means in sports speak, right? It's code for Houston, we have a problem. Chennedy had an incredible season for us last year, says the GM. She's extremely talented and is a player that can impact the game at the highest level in our league. We absolutely appreciate all she did for our team last year. However, we've made changes to our staff and we'll make changes to our roster. Those changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team, so we wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent. And here's what's wild. The Sky aren't just letting Carter walk. They're practically pushing her out the door. Palioka said they wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent. Translation, we'd rather not have you here, thanks. Remember when the Sky were on top of the world just a few years ago, winning championships and making headlines for all the right reasons? Well, those days seem like ancient history now. They've gone from champs to chumps, finishing last season with a dismal 13-win, 27-loss record. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Word on the street is that the locker room was drama. Players were reportedly unhappy with Carter's behavior, and it seems like former coach Teresa Weatherspoon wasn't exactly rushing to address the issue. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck, isn't it? But wait, there's more. This whole Carter saga, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even gotten to the Twitter drama yet. Carter's been throwing some serious shade, and guess who's in her crosshairs? None other than Angel Reese. Oh, you better believe we're going to dive into that juicy mess in a bit. Alright, let's talk where the problem began. Teresa Weatherspoon. Remember her? WNBA legend turned coach who was supposed to take Chicago to the promised land. Yeah, that didn't quite pan out. After a 13-27 season, the Chicago Sky have decided to fire Teresa Weatherspoon. In the words of Vince McMahon, you're fired. You know how sometimes you meet your heroes and it's a total letdown? That's pretty much what happened with Weatherspoon in the Sky. Instead of creating a championship culture, she turned the locker room into something straight out of Mean Girls. And guess who was her teacher's pet? None other than Angel Reese. According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture to cater to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord, when a coach starts playing favorites, things get messy real quick. Weatherspoon gave Reese all the minutes, all the plays, all the love. It was like watching a proud mom at a middle school talent show, except this was supposed to be professional basketball. Meanwhile, the rest of the team might as well have been invisible. You've got players sitting on the bench, watching Reese pad her stats even when they're down by 20. No wonder the team chemistry went down the drain faster than a Reese missed layup. And you know what's even worse? Weatherspoon's coaching style wasn't just annoying. It was downright toxic. Anonymous sources spilled the tea, saying players were fed up with the locker room vibe. It was all about individual glory over team success. Who needs wins when you can have Instagram highlights, right? And let's not forget about poor Camila Cardoso, the rookie who should have been the Sky's next big thing. Weatherspoon couldn't figure out how to use her if her job depended on it. Oh wait, it did. The development of Camila Cardoso is an underrated aspect of everything because she didn't really shine last year because Angel got so much love, and that's not a diss. It's just, Cardoso was drafted higher and wasn't there at the beginning of the season, and they're not a perfect mix, so how they balance that, how the new coach balances that, is going to be interesting to see. You'd think a Hall of Famer would know better, but Weatherspoon's playbook seemed to consist of get the ball to Angel and wing it. Late game situations, more like late game disasters. It's no wonder the players lost respect faster than the Sky lost games. The cherry on top of this dysfunction Sunday, Weatherspoon's complete lack of discipline. By the time she got fired, the damage was done. The Sky had gone from potential contenders to a cautionary tale. So what is Carter now saying about Reese? Is Chennedy Carter Instagram account right here, guys. And I wanted to tell you, bruh, she been going on a low rant all night long. Now this is just a tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, I think the ability to consistently make layups just put anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Now a lot of people is insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Reese. Here's the thing about pro athletes. They love to spill the tea on social media. And when it comes to the Chicago Sky, Chennedy Carter just turned up the heat to boiling point. You know those vague tweets that make you go, wait, what's the real story here? Well, Carter dropped a doozy that had everyone connecting the dots faster than you can say, layup. Let's break it down. Carter tweeted about the importance of making layups. Innocent enough, right? Wrong. See, Angel Reese had been struggling with layups all season. We're talking a success rate of 42.4%, the worst in the WNBA. That's not just bad. That's, maybe you should try underhand. Bad. Out of 321 attempts, Reese only managed to sink 136. Now, contrast that with Carter's performance. Our girl was nailing more than 60% of her layups. Talk about a not-so-humble brag. It's like showing up to a potluck with a gourmet dish while your teammate brings burnt cookies. But wait, there's more. When a fan shared a graphic showing these layup percentages, Carter couldn't resist commenting. Translation for those who don't speak Twitter. You nailed it, not gonna lie. Of course, when the speculation started flying, Carter tried to backpedal faster than a defensive guard. She claimed, I just focus on me. That was literally about me and how special of a craft it is. Sure, Chennedy, you know what's wild? This Twitter drama isn't just about two players beefing. It's a symptom of a much bigger problem in Chicago. We're talking locker room tensions, favoritism, and a team culture that's about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Now, Marina Mabrey, she's already flown the coop on this team, and it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened to the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to melt down? Remember when Marina Mabrey got traded to the Connecticut Sun and couldn't wait to be on a championship team or someone that can compete for a championship? Ouch. But she wasn't done. Later, she praised Connecticut's level of discipline and a level of professionality where players just have to worry about playing basketball. Remember, folks, this is the same Connecticut team that has their practice in front of yoga sessions and birthday parties. And Mabrey still thinks this is better than Chicago. Double ouch. It's like she was saying, thank God I'm out of that dumpster fire. You know what they say, actions speak louder than words. But in the case of Marina Mabrey, her words are speaking volumes about the mess she left behind in Chicago. When a player can't wait to gush about their new team's discipline and professionalism, you know something's seriously wrong with their old squad. But wait, there's more. Mabrey didn't stop there. She went on to praise how the Suns' experienced players want to keep a good environment and make sure that they hold people accountable. Ouch. That's not just throwing shade, that's casting the entire Sky organization into total darkness. Remember Camila Cardoso, the Sky's number 3 overall pick in the 2024 draft? Yeah, turns out she was about as useful to the team as a screen door on a submarine. Reports suggest that Cardoso's potential was completely wasted under the previous coaching regime. Instead of nurturing their top draft pick, the coaching staff was too busy playing favorites with certain players. Guess what happens when you mix a toxic locker room with wasted talent? You get a recipe for disaster that would make even the worst cook on Hell's Kitchen look like a Michelin star chef. The Sky weren't just losing games, they were losing their identity as a professional basketball team. So, how does a once proud franchise bounce back from this kind of implosion? Well, it starts with admitting you have a problem. At least the Sky's management seems to be taking steps in that direction. GM Jeff Pagliacca basically admitted that the decision to cut Chennedy Carter loose was influenced by the need for a cultural shift within the team. Let's talk about a team that's doing things right for a change. While the Chicago Sky are busy imploding faster than a building up for demolition, there's a little squad in Indiana that's showing everyone how it's done. You know who I'm talking about, the Indiana Fever. Women's sports, it's a big opportunity to be a part of this rising tide that we're all experiencing. Everybody in this company's all in. Everybody in this city's all in. Remember when the Fever were the WNBA's punching bag? Well, guess what? Those days are over. In just one season, they've gone from bottom feeders to playoff contenders. And the best part? They did it without all the drama, Twitter beefs, and locker room meltdowns we've been seeing in Chicago. So what's their secret sauce? It starts at the top. Fever. President Kelly Krauskopf isn't messing around. She's all about building a culture that lasts, not just chasing quick wins. In her own words, I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball. And you know what? I believe her. There's something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball. But it's not just talk. Head coach Stephanie White is walking the walk. She's created an environment where players feel empowered and accountable. No favorites, no drama queens, just a team of ballers working together to win games. It's like night and day compared to the mess in Chicago. And let's talk about the players. You've got Caitlin Clark leading the charge, but here's the reality. She's not getting special treatment. No stat padding, no preferential plays. Just pure, unadulterated basketball brilliance. Clark's bringing her A game, but she's also lifting up her teammates. That fierce competitiveness combined with her ride-or-die support for her squad, as we are, we're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her. That's leadership, folks, but it's not just the Caitlin Clark show. Players like Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Kelsey Mitchell are thriving in this new Fever culture. They're proving that you can have individual brilliance without sacrificing team cohesion. It's like they've cracked the code or something. And you know what happens when you build a winning culture? People want in. The Fever have become a hot destination for free agents. Players across the league are looking at Indiana and thinking, that's where I want to be. It's not about the glitz or the glamour. It's about being part of something special. The Fever's success is making waves beyond just their win-loss record. League officials are taking notice, praising the team's management for their smart moves and positive vibes. They're setting a new standard for how a WNBA team should be run. The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2012. Let's be real, folks. The Chicago Sky's implosion isn't just a team crisis. It's a wake-up call for the entire WNBA. You know what? It's time for organizations to get their act together and prioritize building a positive culture over chasing individual stars and inflated stats. Here's the thing. Rebuilding a team's culture isn't just about swapping out a few players or firing a coach. It's about establishing clear communication, accountability, and a team-first mentality. The league has made it clear that strong cultures are essential for both keeping players happy and winning games. And guess what? Teams like the Indiana Fever are showing us how it's done, turning their fortunes around by focusing on team cohesion and creating a supportive environment. So, what do you think? Is the future of women's basketball hanging in the balance? Can teams find that sweet spot between nurturing talent and fostering teamwork?